Greetings, family. Greetings to every one of us. Hope we are all doing great on this wonderful, blessed, glorious set apart day of the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles. Today is the last great day. As YAHUSHUA said, no walking. It is called a high Shabbat. Yes, what will begins, or rather what YAHUSHUA begins with us, his elect, a week ago. Today is the finishing of it. Set apart, more great among all. Why is today more greater than every other serving? That's what I want to look into. This is the day the King himself, YAHUSHUA HaMashiach, cut off flesh. He removed that excess luggage not needed in his penis. You know what the penis of man is to man? It is the very glory and crown of his scepter. So, that nonsense that covered the glory and the strength and power of the penis of a man, today is the day to cut it off. It's not needed. So that's what we want to look into today. Thank you, Abba YAHUSHUA, for this last great day, for this circumcision day, a day to cut off flesh, for this number 8 that symbolizes infinity, no ending, and again symbolize a new beginning. Yes, to make it all anew after the male flesh not needed is being removed. Thank you, Baba. I love you, Baba. To you be all praise, Baba. Hallelujah unto you, Baba. Rebo Sikayaba. Hallelujah Shintalabe. Thank you, Baba. I love you, Abba. I love you. Thank you so much for giving us your word, Abba, and for also giving us your spirit. To you, eternal, be all praise. I love you. I love your word, King YAHUSHUA HaMashiach. I love your set apart spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, my eternal husband. I love you also, Abba. Hallelujah. Thank you, Abba. Yes, family, we want to do the finishing. What Abba YAHUSHUA has already begun with us. Today is the 8th day. Started on the 30th of September. Today is the last day of the feast. So Abba YAHUSHUA wants to bring it to closure. All right now, here we are in the heavenly courtroom of Abba YAHUSHUA with this powerful message started for you and me. Feast of Tabernacles, last great day. King YAHUSHUA cut off flesh and Allah fleshly paradise, says market. YAHUSHUA on this day is going to remove all this nonsense. Because Islam is the last revelation. Quran, okay, yes, Quran is the last revelation. Okay, let's start with the head of Islam. Allah is the head of Islam. Allah is the last dragon head. Allah is the last, because the dragon also has 7 heads. So Allah is the last head to go. Christians was the 6th heads of that dragon organization, body of wickedness that is fighting against the royal law, opposing the Shabbat, opposing everything Abba YAHUSHUA put down for his children, deceiving us, confusing us, misleading us. Christians have done their own perfectly. They are the 6th heads of that beast and dragon, and Allah is the 7th, the very last of it all. So that is why we keep hearing Islam saying they are the last. Muhammad is the last revelation, last prophet. Quran is the last revelation. Islamic is the last religion. And that is correct. Religion of who? Of the dragon, of the beast empire, of the animals kingdom. Yes, they are the last. So they know what they are saying. Okay, they said Muhammad is the last prophet. Quran, the last revelation. Islam, the last religion. That is correct. It's the last of the dragonic kingdom. All right, now prior to the title, so let's put scriptures now. And let's see how it looks like to cut off flesh. It's in the book. Why cry? Best known as Leviticus chapter 23, 34 through 37. I read, Speak. Okay, I take from 33. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yisrael, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles for 7 days unto Yahuwah. 35. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no several work therein. The first and the last day we don't work, like today. Of course, I can't work. I'm home commemorating it. 36 now. 7 days. Ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah on the 8th day, which is today. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no several work therein. These are the feasts of Yahuwah, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah, a burnt offering. How can we drop it over there? Okay, a burnt offering. Alright, it's okay. A burnt offering and a meat offering is a sacrifice, and drink offerings, everything upon his day. Hallelujah. Thank you, Adonai Yahuwah. So my emphasis is on the last day, the 8th day. So I want to look into what is that number 8. Okay. And it's Adamic covenant. That is where we're going to see the clear picture. Okay. The number 8. So it symbolizes eternity, and it also symbolizes new beginning. Okay. To begin with few. Okay. And that's why Christian is keeping Sunday. Okay. Sunday, the day of sun. The day of sun. First day is sun. That is not how the royal law call it anyway. The royal law call it first day of the week, which is Sunday. Christian call it Sunday, or the pagan call it Sunday. So Sunday, another Sunday, that is 8th day. It is to cut off flesh. Simply means new beginning. And in infinity, eternity. Where are you spending that eternity? So let's look into the royal law. Alright, we want to also add the New Testament. The king himself also celebrated this last great day, and it is something unique. So quickly, let's put that before we now begin to look into what today is, the number 8, the great last day. Yahuwah, best known as John, chapter 7, 37 through 40. In the last day, that great day of the feast, that is today, okay, YAHUSHUA student cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink, because some people is going to be thirsty, eternal in the lake of fire. You can see that in the book of Luke chapter 16, where that rich man, throat was so dried. Excuse me, then I begin to beg Lazarus, don't even bring water. That offer is going to be so heavy. But just do me this one favor. Dip the tip of your finger inside water and just come and cool my truth. Because Yahushua knows it's going to be so horrible. That is why on this last day, he cried out with a loud voice and said, Come over here. Come to me. Then you will quench that taste. I alone will quench that, or rather to protect you not to go there. 38 now. He that believeth on me, as the scripture had said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water from your belly. What is in the belly of a man and of a woman? What are we keeping over there? It is a laboratory of who? 39. But this spake he of the Spirit, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Ruach HaKodesh was not yet given, because that Yahushua was not yet glorified. We walk in order, okay? 40. Many of the people, therefore, when they heard this saying, said, Of a truth, this is the prophet. This is the very one we have been waiting for. Hear me low, hear me low. Come and draw from me the rivers of salvation. Come and draw salvation out of me. Come and draw rest out of me. Come and draw peace out of me. Safety, divine protection. Come and draw it out of me. Eternity, heaven is in me. I am the resurrection. Except you do that, come and draw it out of me. It's going to spread unto you. So now that we have included this, let's go to see what number 8 is. The very day he gave this offer, open-handed, come over here, come to me. You don't need that tasty. You don't need that horrible place. You don't need it. Come to me. Come to me. This is the day he makes this proclamation. Let's see what today is. When we call it number 8, or rather, YAHUSHUA call it number 8, it doesn't just mean just ordinary 8. So we want to look into what that 8 is. It simply means, functioning system. The 8 is a functioning system, is a governing system. In either way, flesh must be cut off. In either way, you must remove the flesh. If you don't do it by yourself, that is walking in line with the royal law. Therefore, YAHUSHUA himself is going to do it to you. And if he do it to you, let me tell you, flesh is also a body of people. It's organization. It's a governing system. It's a functioning system. It's a living system. So, but YAHUSHUA want to kill that living system on this day. He want to put stop to that functioning system on this day. Flesh is a body of a company. So you want to destroy that company utterly out of this earth because it's not needed. They are confusionalists. This body of flesh, they are waging war against the spirit. And they can never submit to the rules of the spirit. That is why YAHUSHUA is going to cut them off on this day in a very horrible way. The picture is already there. That is what I want to look into. Follow me now to what number 8 is. Bereshit, best known as Genesis chapter 17, verses 10 through 14. This is the most area, I think, okay, prior to my knowledge now or understanding now, I think 92%, don't know the causes in Abrahamic covenant. You see, as the whole world is getting blessed through Abraham, in the same way the whole world is going to get cursed through Abraham. He's the father of all nations. Blessings spread from him. Curses also spread from him. Let's see that. I quoted already, Genesis 17, 10 through 14. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you, and thy seed, and thy seed after thee, every male child among you shall be circumcised, because man carries the power. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant between me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every male child in your generations. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. So what does it say? Salvation is an open arm to everyone that just, that become a partaker or a partaker of it. As soon as you just, open your heart to follow YAHUSHUA, regardless who you are, you become one of us. Provided that excess luggage is gone, you don't carry it on your head, your thought, your ways, your imagination, everything is circumcised. Okay? Therefore, you become one of the son or the daughter of the kingdom. 13. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, that is slave, okay, must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. You see, this is where Jesus is destroyed. This is where thunder strike Jesus in YAHUAH'S mighty name, because he said everlasting. Everlasting simply means everlasting. Okay? It's unbreakable. Thunder strike Jesus in YAHUAH'S mighty name. Verses 14. And the uncircumcised male child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off. This is the day from his people. He hath broken my covenant. So now you see the covenant. This is the Abrahamic covenant, the third covenant. Adamic covenant is to bring back the new earth. Um, um, Adamic covenant is to give us a Messiah. Noahamic covenant is to cut off flesh, to remove every nonsense again. In fact, the second covenant and the third covenant almost the same. Almost. Because Noahamic covenant, we see the rainbow. Okay, to beautify the earth again with all glories and colors of Abba YAHUAH'S mercies. Now, Abrahamic covenant is to spare them that we obey Abba YAHUAH's voice and remain under this covenant. And again, it's also to destroy them that disobey his covenant. Okay, in the flesh. So now, we see the third covenant is to wipe out everyone that dwells in flesh. Now I want to see the blessings of Abraham that also carry curses of Abraham. Genesis chapter 12, verses 2 through 3. And I will make of thee a great nation, singular, that this is the letter K. And I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Now, how do Abba YAHUAH make Father Abraham name great? There is a place called Abraham also. Luke 16:22, where the two cut off flesh. Okay, where we can see the meaning of indeed cut off flesh. You see, Lazarus, life was so horrible, life was so difficult, life was not indeed friendly with him. In fact, he received the bad things of this world, but he cut off flesh. He never, because of that, he renounced YAHUAH. He never, because of that, and now begin to do compromising, and now begin to break the royal law. And now say, Abba YAHUAH, go away. You could have healed me. Look at me. I'm not going to the unbeliever's table to get my food. Sometimes we spit on it. Before I will leave, this is what I live on. The one that fall from his mouth, his filthy mouth, that is what I'm living for. Go away. I will not serve you again. I want to go and do whatever that takes me to be blessed. He never. He preferred to suffer and crucify flesh. He preferred to suffer and circumcise anything that is going to be excess luggage for him. He renounced them all. He said, I'd rather suffer. I'd rather die in poverty. I'd rather remain in this situation than to break covenant with YAHUAH. No way. That is how you cut off flesh. That is how you circumcise your foreskin. And a woman also has skin to cut off. A woman ought not to circumcise. That is not your covenant. The circumcision of a woman is the lock on her virginity. That only one man ought to go there and break that seal. Then you drop blood. That is covenant of oneness. You see. But since we couldn't, or no one raised me up in that belief, or in the belief of Abba YAHUAH, that is the need for circumcision. I'm counting 90 whole years now. That lock, Abba YAHUAH, lock it up. No sex. Not just no sex. I live a godly lifestyle. By His grace, I live a godly lifestyle. I said it with all my mouth. I cut it off. I cut it off. People know me here. And they knew I'm not lying. I cut off everything that glorified not YAHUAH. I prefer to be alone. That is why many people also rejected me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They said this woman is a devil. Because I speak from the inner, almost part, of Abba YAHUAH. I speak the deep things of Abba YAHUAH. Jesus is a devil. He's the first Messiah. To clear. They came with another religion, another name, another system, another function, another theater, and mask. In fact, the thing they came with is paganism. And they now use our book, the sacred royal law, to mark up paganism. Yes. Lonely is the narrow way. I'm a living witness of that. Brother, so busy is the way of destruction. You yourself, you can attest to that. You can attest to that. Now listen, we return back here. Lazarus gave it all. That is how to crucify flesh. That is how to let go. If you don't let it go in that manner, you want to compromise. I bet your wife himself is going to circumcise you. Listen, you're going to first of all be flesh in the fleshly, last head to go. Verses 3. Bereshit chapter 12, verses 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Now, blessing and cursing is over here. How are you blessing Abraham? YAHUSHUA said to the Pharisees in John chapter 8, verses 32, way down to 44. In fact, 43 now said, if you were the seed of Abraham, you should have done what Abraham did. Because Abraham knew me. Abraham keep my word, but you are not keeping my word. So YAHUSHUA said, come on now, your father is not Abraham. Who is your father? You are of your father, the devil. And the will of your father is exactly what you are doing. Your father is a liar and is a murderer, a liar, and the father of all liars. Liars. YAHUSHUA now point them to their father. Now, if you are if you are the seed of Abraham, why not do what the Abraham did? When you do what Abraham did, then you receive blessing. And how are you cursing Abraham? By neglecting the covenant, what covenanted with Abraham. You cast it under your foot. You say, what is my business? I am not more in that nonsense. That is old-fashioned. I just want to do my own. I just want to live for myself. And I want to do what multitude do. This is how you curse him. And Abiwa said, he is going to curse you by himself. How is he going to curse you? For you to refuse to remain under his covenant, he himself is going to cut you off because you now became flesh. You now refuse the foreskin or the flesh. Yeah, you now refuse to circumcise your foreskin, your forehead, your heart, everything. You refuse to let it go. Fear for you. Say, I myself, I'm going to curse you. How is it going to curse you? Let's go deeper. So from one Abraham, all the blessings of salvation spread over. It's salvation. That's why we all, become a partaker. Okay, let me quickly chip in this. Abraham has three lineage, or yeah, three. I will get the right word. 3 seed. Okay. The number 1 is Ishmael. That is the man of flesh. The number 2 is Isaac, the covenant child. Number 3 is Keturah, the sons of Keturah 6, which are Christendom. Christians have every single right chances to inherit the kingdom of Yahuwah. Why? Because they did not come from the uncircumcised body, filthy body, wicked body that carry excess luggage of Father Abraham. No, they came through the clean body of Father Abraham. So if Christian makes heaven, sorry, the hottest place in the lake of fire is going to be their portion. Why? Because they have every chances right to attain that glory. Now, Islam not so. They came from the filthy body, from the nonsense body, from the wretched body, from the unclean body, from the filthy body of Father Abraham, the uncircumcised body. Where the uncircumcised body still carried that excess luggage, uncleanness. They came from uncleanness. Ishmael is the progenitor of Islam. So they came from that nonsense. So that's why they are man of flesh. And that is why all their heaven is about flesh, and flesh. So that's what we want to look into. Because they are the last head to go. Yes, for 1,000 years they will rule. That is what is called Sharia law. But in that Sharia law, you're going to see what is called flesh. So on the 8th, YAHUSHUA will remove the flesh from the earth. Let's put some up. So now, it said the first shall be the last. Islam, they are the first of this Abrahamic blessing and Abrahamic curses. They are the first, and they are also going to be the last. They are the last to go now. They are the last head to rule. And each man must rule. Abayewa gave him that right hand fellowship. Abayewa gave him their wills. Abayewa released them to their own will. They must rule. They must rule for 1,000 years. And Abayewa is going to gather all the families of the earth. In fact, 92% is going to gather it and ship them all to Islam. You're going to worship the God of Islam. And you're going to see what is flesh over there. So let's see the works of flesh. Leviticus chapter 12, verses 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and bore a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation for her infirmity. She shall be unclean. 3. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. You see, keep repeating it, okay? Now, Luke chapter 2, you can take it from, this is when YAHUSHUA was birthed, the Feast of Tabernacles. That was why it was also being placed on a small manger. Okay, that is his Sukkot, both, okay? Now, verses 21. And when 8 days was accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called YAHUSHUA, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. Okay. And when the days of her purification according to the law of Moshe was accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to Yahuwah. That is the 8-day circumcision. You see, the king himself also go through that process. Why? Because if you yourself crucify your flesh, fearful, though it's Abayewa that is still working in us to cut off flesh, okay? It's still, of course, Abayewa doing all those, giving us sufficient grace, to deal with anything that is not needed in the kingdom, to remove anything that can't be washed in the blood, to disagree with anything that is going to become a stumbling block for you not to enter Abayewa's presence. He gave us that sufficient grace to deal with that situation, okay? Even the king himself went through the process. Okay, now everyone that went through the process, taking it in a very soft, easy way, that is agreeing with Yahuwah to do a work in you. Of course, you cut off flesh. Flesh is not needed, so that one is a glory. But in either way, Yahuwah is going to cut off flesh. Either he cut it off, Apostle Shehu said, Romans chapter 8 or so, yes, that the suffering of this present time, you can't compare it at all with the glory that is going to be revealed. Yes, in suffering, yes, Abayewa said he disciplined us as his own legitimate child. He take us through discipline. Yes, he used hardship to build us. He used hardship, to remove all those excess luggage. He is doing it. But if you're refusing to do that and say you can't handle, sorry, you're going to take it in a very hard way. Because flesh in either way must die. And its organization. And the worst enemy we have, the Bible said, is the flesh. Is the flesh. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's the flesh. It's our worst enemy. It said nothing good in it. But you must strangle and let it go. If not, when Abayewa do it by fire, that is going to be horrible. Alright, I want to go into fleshly kingdom. The paradise of Allah, it doesn't exist at all. It's fleshly kingdom. That is after Sharia law. That is what they call paradise. Yeah, it's gonna be their paradise because they're gonna display what is called flesh. They're gonna fulfill the desire of flesh. They're gonna do horrible thing that you just say you can't even believe it. Then a thing like this guy exists in this world. Yes, it's already in the Quran. It's already in the Hadith. They have it already in their sacred book also. Now let's see. Galatians chapter 4, verses 1 through the last of me. I'm going to be stopping through 26. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do you not hear the law? Now, when he's saying this, you that desire to be under the law, that is you that want to still remain under the sacrificial law a sacrificial, whatever, goat system, is that one going to save you? I'm not under the law. I keep the rules of the laws of Yahuwah. Now let's see what the law says. For it is written that we are going to the law. Now I said, tell me, 21, tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law? Listen, 21, 22. For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, that is slavery eternal, the other by a free woman. Yes, that is the covenanting one, 23. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the what? After the flesh. But he of the free woman was born by what? By promise, circumcised body, holy body, clean body. That nonsense yogo is no more there. That is the spare of Allah in Genesis 3, because Allah is the flesh we are talking about. He himself ushers in flesh, 24. Which things are an allegory, for these are the two covenants. The one from the Masana, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar, Islam, the mother of Ishmael, Ishmael, the progenitor of Islam, the moon worshipper. Agar is the daughter of Pharaoh. Pharaoh worship all kinds of nonsense. They worship vagina. Pharaoh always go into the rivers, the river Nile. They will go, him and his priest, they will go and be masturbating inside that river. They said they will believing that that is their fertility, that is where their fertility comes from. And Allah was their God, the moon god. And when you check all mosque is Christ with Christ the moon. 25. For this Agar is Masana in Arabia, and Azareth to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. That is the new earth that is going to come. There is no flesh over there. This one now, because Agar came for flesh, Ishmael came for flesh, covenant of flesh, covenant of anger, covenant of bloodshed. Yes, this is the bondage of flesh. So we step on some up. Now Genesis, you can read it all. This is where Ishmael came from. Okay. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bore him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abraham, behold, now Yahuwah has kept me. This is the words of flesh. But Allah attacked her to chip in our daughter, which is Hagar, in order for Islam to come. So we rushed down to, should I be reading all this? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's go now to verses 10. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto her, you see, Yahuwah have a relationship with Hagar. Hagar have one-on-one discussion with YAHUSHUA HaMashiach. That is why he's dangerous. Because he himself is going to cut off flesh. After Sarah chased her away, they always despise people. When you give them right hand fellowship, they're going to come and they want to become your head now. That's what Hagar did. Now begin to despise our mama and say, barren woman, look at me, I just went in, pam, 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 a baby is out. What about you? You could it. Well, what kind of a child? A child of flesh, cut of flesh. That's what today is. 10, I take it again. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be nor but for multitude. And the angel of Yahuwah said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael. Yahushua named Islam. That is when Islam called. Yahuwah, he said, I'm going to hear. Because Yahuwah had heard the affliction. 12. And it will be a white donkey of a man. His hand will be against every man. I drop it over there. Okay, his hand will be against every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Ishmael is going to rule. Ishmael hasn't yet ruled. This glory is not yet. Now, when Ishmael is going to rule, it's in Sharia law. Ishmael is coming back. That is you can see Revelation chapter 6. It's one of the horsemen. You can also see Revelation chapter 9 is their resurrection. This is land, men of flesh. They are coming to do it 1,000 years. So that is their paradise. And if you see what is inside that paradise, okay, let's quickly read these promises again. That is why I believe Sharia law. Genesis 17 verses 20. And as for Ishmael, I have held thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall be he begot, and will make him a great nation. This is the time Abba Yahweh want to fulfill this promise. This promise is what is called Sharia law. Now the works of flesh begins over here, Genesis 3 verses 14. Now I want to read. And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the serpent, because thou art done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go. And what is in the mouth belly? What is close to your loins? What is where is your belly, your bosom? And dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. So what is dust? So let's quickly rush to 19 in order for you to understand what is dust. Verses 19 now. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So now what is going to be the food of this serpent? Is flesh, carnality, fleshly desire. Now, why are we here? Let me show you, illustrate that to you. So in Aramaic, this is how Allah is being written, just like a snake. You see this? You see for this snake, you see how Allah is being written. Now in the holy language, Allah simply makes curse, as in the curse serpent, in where we just read Genesis 3. That is going to be eating who? Flesh. That flesh is going to be whose food? Allah. Flesh is his food. Is the man of flesh. The very one that also come to carry out his desire, Ishmael, the progenitor of Islam, it came from flesh. And on this day, it is to do what? To cut off flesh. So quickly let's put some more. Now Genesis 2:21, woman was the only thing that came from flesh. Woman came from flesh. The man came direct from Yahuwah. While the woman, the first woman, came direct from the flesh. Now, in the kingdom of Allah, in the paradise of Allah, what is Allah's reward? It is a woman. Now, in the kingdom of Allah, who is the majority? It is woman. How do we know? Allah said one jihadist man is going to be having 72 wives. And we also see in Allah Quran 4:24. Allah also said, I will put that one apart. No, I will read 24 now. Allah said, all Muslims needs to have 4 wives. And Muhammad was having 11 or 13 or 9. According because all their hadith, they are against each other. Some say 9, some say 11, some say 13. Now, women is the majority of Allah's creature. What Allah did, He created excess women and few men. And these few men, there is another miracle of Allah in the few men, that one man is going to be having 100 men strength. 100 men strength. To do what? Only to have sexual intercourse. Only to have sex, flesh, carnality. Only to have sex, nothing. In the kingdom of Allah, Allah even said that He wrote His name on the breast of the woman. Okay? In the kingdom of Allah, there's nothing going on. Only to bang sexual intercourse, 90 day to night. So let's see what is going to be happening in the kingdom of Allah, which is flesh, sex market. Now, this is the one that ushers in Quran, okay? Muhammad. That this guy in his mind, he was so sick, I don't know, so upset with sex. With sex, let's see his sex orientation. What is it called? Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, Book 5, number 268. Let's hear from Aisha. Narrated Aisha, whatever. Prophet used to visit all his wives in one night, and he had 9 wives at that time. All night. It is to bang all night. To that extent, the case now get tough. That Muhammad now begin to sick in his head. Sahih Bukhari, volume 7, book 71, number 660. Okay, let me read it. Narrated Aisha. Magic was worked on Allah's apostle so that he used to think that he had sexual intercourse with his wives while he actually had not. So this guy will just sit there, he said will be, I bang all my 11 wives or 9 wives or 30 wives already. He said meanwhile he didn't touch them. So this is how devilish this has become in Islam. And this is their progenitor, this is their father, that ushers. And Muhammad is their perfect example. That it goes to that point. That's are the works of flesh, okay? I'm just going to be kind to, or should I read Quran first? Okay, let's read Quran first before I start talking. So in Allah's kingdom, it's full of sex and marriage, homosexuality, bestiality, because everything they said they forbid here on earth, they said when it comes to this kingdom of Allah, all here is acceptable. They say one is a devil's property. But when you go to the paradise of Allah, it's filled of wine. They even have, young boys, pearls. You're going to be scattering those pearls. Okay, those boys, they said they are the one that's going to be serving all jihadists, all Islam, this ogogoro. What is the meaning of all this nonsense? Whereby YAHUSHUA said, in resurrection, there is no marriage, no giving marriage. We are all angels. In resurrection, the people of the resurrected, in resurrection, there's nothing like that. But in the kingdom of Allah, it's only sex. So this is where Quran came from. Quran 4, verses 24. This is where he came from. Let's read. Sahih, Sunni Abu Dawud, 2150. Okay. The apostles, Abu Sa'id said, the apostles of Allah, no, peace cannot be upon Muhammad, okay, sent a military expansion, to Hittaz. I'm sorry, pardon me if I couldn't pronounce it well. Hittaz, on the occasion of the Battle of Huni. I'm sorry if I couldn't pronounce it well. They met their enemies and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captives. Some of the companions of the Apostle of Allah were reluctant to have sexual intercourse with the female captives in the presence of their husbands, who were unbelievers. So Allah, the Exalted, sent down the Quranic verses, chapter 4, verses 24. And all married women are forbidden unto you, save those captive women whom your right hand possesses. This is to say, they are lawful for them when they complete their waiting periods. So Allah now even go ahead and say, wait for us to be sure that they are not pregnant in order for them not to bring unbeliever husband or child to you. So now what I will say, this is the works of flesh. This is what is going to be taking place in the paradise of Allah. A marriage, in fact, polyandry is going to be so well promoted. Bestiality is going to be well promoted. Now, in fact, necromancy is also in their fatwa. Fatwa simply means religious declaration. Okay. Now, in this their fatwa said, when a wife of Islamic man died, her husband needs to go bambanga, have sexual intercourse with her within 6 hours before she will be buried. That death is not a barrier for sex for them. And in the kingdom of Allah, I think, is it Texia? I read it some time ago, said that Islam is going to be having sex with anything of any kind, relatives in Allah's kingdom, including their daughters. In fact, here in Sharia law, when a man, Islamic man, a pregnant woman outside marriage, they said that child is not legitimate. If it is a woman, they said her father, biological father, have the right to have sexual intercourse with her. Now, one of their well-known Emma, Ayatollah Khomeini, if you see the nonsense book that one also write about sex, that one give go ahead for bestiality. He even give go ahead for you to have sexual intercourse with a little child, a baby. This is their one of their respected imam. He published that book. Put it on the Google. Ayatollah Khomeini says book for Shiites. You're gonna hear nonsense over there. Unbelievable. These are the works of flesh. Now, this is Sodom and Gomorrah in Allah's kingdom. Allah's kingdom is simply Sodom and Gomorrah, nothing else, okay? I want to read Hadith. Yes, Hadith. Quote from Hadith, okay. Volume 4, page 172, number 34. Ali reported that the apostles of Allah said, there is in paradise a market wherein there shall be no buying nor selling. So what are we going to be doing? Not me. What are they going to be doing in this market in paradise? What is going on there? No buying, no selling, okay? What is going on there? Listen now. But we consist of a male, a men, and women. So the customer is men and women, okay? No, the items over there is men and women. When a man, this is the customer now, when a man desire a beauty, he will have sexual intercourse with them. That is what you desire. The man is the customer. And we see, he said this marketplace of Allah is full of men and women. And you're not going to be paying nothing, okay? It's only just men and women. And when man go there and this man desire any of them, the man or the woman to have sex with them, he will just enter in. He will just have sex with them. This is the works of flesh. YAHUSHUA is going to pull all of them into fire. Do you know what that is? Quickly, let me quote this scripture. These are the works of flesh. I have so many in this nonsense of Allah's paradise. The works of flesh. But no room to read it all. Revelation 14. Go and see. It said the street is going to overflow with blood. Revelation 19. Read it all. It's destruction. Revelation 20. The same. It is destruction. YAHUSHUA is going to squash them all. He's going to grind them all into powder on this day called cut of flesh. The number 8. The last great day. In Islamic kingdom, pedophile, little children is going to be well molested. Bestiality, homosexuality, necromancy is going to be banging dead people. This is what is called the works of flesh. And Islamic is the works of flesh. Sharia law is the works of flesh. All kind of nonsense is going to be taking place. But YAHUSHUA is going to put them all into fire. This is the nature for this feast today. Thank you, Abi Yahuwah, that your own is already been delivered. Yeah, the flesh must be cut off from the earth. Hallelujah. Thank you, Abba. So family will do